right? Like Snoop, for example. I love Snoop. You know what I'm saying? Like, honestly, I wouldn't have begrudged Snoop for doing what he did, but nigga, shut your fucking mouth then. Like, we can't be writing checks and then be like, I'ma just move differently. They don't write them. There's a lot of people who didn't have to say shit. Like, y'all niggas do know you can go vote quietly, right? But then when y'all want to jump on some of these fucking trains at, whatever moment it was, because that's exactly what he was doing. And then now the train came back around and look who the fuck is on the goddamn train. It's you, Snoop. I wouldn't begrudge you for like just doing your thing and get your bag. You've been rocking with Martha forever. Right? Cool. You're not the Snoop that used to be murder was the case. Now you're Snoop with make me a play. I get that, my guy. But you still have to be accountable on some level, bro. I don't give a fuck if I did change my mind. Even if I did, I still would not take the job, bro. Or if I did, I'd come out and speak on it. Hey, man, this is what it was. You dig what I'm saying? I looked at things differently. Da-da-da-da-da. Right? Did you go into the shit talking that Trump talk? Right? Are you even a Trump supporter? Were you just doing it for the bag? Because if you were just doing it for the bag, that's the definition of being a sellout. Like if you put out a position, right? If you put out a position that seems to be very harsh and stands on one side, and then you change your mind, and the only reason why it changed was because a check was attached, I don't know what else you call that. I'm not calling Uncle Snoop a sellout. But y'all can't act like people don't got a legitimate gripe against Snoop because it looks like he's sold out.
It's sellout-ish.
Even for as much as we forgive Snoop for all of the other selling out that he's done in regards to marketing dollars, I'm being a little funny with the words, right? Because he, markets everything, right? But all I'm saying is we got to stand on something for real. We can't even stand on the fact that, nigga, you said this 4 years ago and now look at you. We can't say that? No, right? And then here's the other component. So it's okay that it happened to Chrisette Michele. Was there any level of misogyny involved there? Like, it's okay to go ahead and dump on the sis real quick, but because we like the niggas, right? It's okay to give them a pass because, haha, Nelly, Snoop, that's it's hot here. I don't really know Chrisette Michele songs like that, right? But we can't be fair and balanced, right? So my thing is, if you had an issue with her, what changed about you that you don't have an issue with Snoop and them now, right? Because if you still have an issue with Trump, and the issue is, it's all for niggas who support Trump, and Snoop, if by extension or otherwise, is doing that, what are we talking about? So everybody saying, what are we talking about, y'all? This shit is like smoke and mirrors. Niggas be saying they care about shit, but they don't really care about shit. I'm talking about just people in general, right? People in general, right? Because Snoop is a perfect example of that. There is no way you could talk the way that she was talking and then be there doing what you did, my guy. I'm sorry. And not at least be like, hey, man, you know what? I'm gonna be honest about, with y'all. I want to pay less taxes and shit. I'm making too much money out here. You dig what I'm saying? Like, this is who I am today. Like, stand on that. And I respect it, but he's not done that. Nelly's different. I don't know Nelly's politics, right? If he can, and I think he did articulate himself like, hey, this is my position. I can't be mad at that. Some of y'all black people be wanting to put y'all black people shit on other black people, but they don't be standing for black people when it comes to the black people shit they want you to stand on. Make that make sense. And rewind it and slow it down to hear what the fuck I just said. Y'all be wanting other people to stand on the shit you want them to stand on as black people, but won't stand on the shit that they want you to stand on as black people. The fuck? Y'all all full of shit. So in conclusion, make your money, fam. Make your money. But when you put your brand out there like that and say something, then yeah, it's fair for people to come back and be like, you full of shit. You know what I'm saying? You might lose a couple of brand points, Snoop. I'm sorry to be the one to tell you that, my guy. Okay? Because that shit was corny. Because you sit there and hate on Chrisette Michele, but you can't even hold yourself accountable for that, or at least apologize to her. You owe her an apology, my nigga. Man, the fuck up.
Thank you.
There's a lot of y'all bitch ass niggas. I'm not calling Snoop this necessarily, but if the shoe fits, if the collar fits, a lot of y'all niggas that be out there and shit on a sister do the same thing, and they don't even have the fucking chutzpah to apologize. It's not that hard. You know what? I was a bit rough. I shouldn't have done that to her. Sign her to your fucking label because she was dropped from her label when she did that shit. Y'all are full of shit, man. Go ahead.
Actually, that's what I was going to point out I was going to ask this question, like, was there a difference because she got so much slander, hate, and so forth, and especially from the folks who performed, by the way, and so I was like, is it because of her gender? is it was because she's a woman, let's dump on her. And so I was like, whereas with this conversation, with it being Snoop and Soulja Boy and Nelly, while some people are dumping on them, the majority are quiet. So then it also makes me wonder, was this also a form of Trump pandering to his new supporters? Right? Because he had a lot of black men supporters, so he filled the stage with black men. And so I wonder if that was also part of his new gimmick, the new look at me, I'm the new this. And I found it fascinating because one thing I can say is that he's a master of rebranding and rebranding and branding again. So he pretty much builds on. So with this being said, I had problems with those selling out for the bag, right? Because it's always like one of the things, there's a quote, I can't remember who said it, but it was basically a quote that said, the reason why the oppressors stay the oppressed is because they have agents within the oppressed, right? And so that's what I viewed this as almost, right? And even though there's a population that, I'm not trying to say one way or another how you vote or whatnot, because you're entitled to your own opinion. But the way that they shitted on this one woman who did it was like, wow, this is amazing. The hypocrisy, the double standard knows no bounds. And now with Nelly, I thought he did it for free because he said he did it for free. He did it because this was the first time he was invited and he was doing it out of respect for the office. But then he went on to shit on Biden and point out all the things that he didn't like about Biden. And I felt like, yo, if you're going to say that you did it for free because out of respect for the president's office, then how are you going to turn around in the same breath and shit on the former president when you can just say, I was a Trump supporter and stand on that. And that's why I performed.
It's not the same thing. The same thing would have been if Biden would have invited him to perform and he did. He's saying he performed because he was asked. Maybe Biden didn't ask him. That's a totally different thing. And he's also being asked about what he thinks about a particular president's performance. Is all I'm saying.
No, he was not asked directly about the performance. He brought that up on his own accord, which is why I interpreted to mean that, hey, it's okay for him to say that I support Trump anyways. I think it was okay. He should have just stood on that. In addition to saying, I got this invite. This is the first time. I'm excited. I was going to do it for free. But hearing that he had a case that was apparently all charges was all of a sudden magically dropped, maybe it wasn't as free as I thought it was. Maybe it wasn't exactly for free. You know what I'm saying? So, so I'm just saying if he's passing out pardons and getting charges dropped, you know what I'm saying? YSL, look him up,
So I'm
it's that Rocky.
I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let y'all bounce this.
ASAP Rocky does have some charges though. SNM, that's a good one. Look at you. Okay. Yeah. No other police blotter in the hip-hop community. Yeah.
It's gonna be our new segment. SNM with the hip-hop news.
Yes. It was newly arrested. So I think that SNM makes a good point, but I think there is a sea change. I think there's been a sea change with regards to Trump. He does have more support in the Black community. So aligning yourself with Trump isn't seen as a slap in the face to all Black people everywhere anymore. Those Black for Trump t-shirts finally caught on, apparently. And now, you know what I'm saying, it's a thing. So I do.
It was the shoes. It had to be the shoes. It had to be the
shoes. When Trump made the shoes, it was a game changer. That was his Bill Clinton with the saxophone moment, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I think Black people's attitudes about him have changed somewhat. And I think that made something of a safe harbor for people to switch up who hadn't been there before. I agree with you, Nelly. If Nelly's a Trump supporter, he should just own it, right? You want to support the man, then you should have reasons why you support him, and those reasons are your reasons. They don't have to be valid to us, but they should be valid to you, and you should be able to stand on them 10 toes down if that's where you stand. So I do see the point on that, but I think it's safer to be with Trump now. I'm still not a Trump supporter. I'm just going to make sure whatever I say doesn't end me up in the van somewhere.